Hello, it is. How big is this a defeat for Trump in his last days in office? And also, what's the key point of contention this time?
Well, a very rare moment indeed, both for the Senate and for the President, Donald Trump himself. I mean, if you just look at the last 4 years, throughout his entire presidency, he pretty much all along had the backing of the majority of the Republican senators. He always received their support with most of his decisions. But this time around, that seems to have changed, and in a very overwhelming way. I mean, in today's vote at the Senate, you'll see that 81 senators voted in favor of overriding Trump's veto of this military budget. That is a very sizable amount, by the way, more than $740 billion, as you mentioned, and only a small minority of only 13 senators voted against it. So this was a very clear defeat to Donald Trump, only less than 3 weeks before he steps down from the presidency. And there are now quite a few important points why this decision was made. And one of them is that, as we mentioned, a military budget of this size was going to go for all sorts of critical programs and operations that are very critical to the functioning of the military itself, including its national security. And there were also quite a few programs that funds important allies that are seen as essential around the world. And you know, the two parties, not just the Republican Party, but both parties have negotiated this deal for weeks, if not months. And for Donald Trump to come out of nowhere in the very last minute to try to veto it was very much considered unfair for most lawmakers. And that was really the main contention there. And we've also heard from some Republicans that this was seen also as some kind of a loyalty test by the president in the very last days of his presidency, to really see which of those Republican lawmakers were really going to be stick with him, stay on his side. And that appears not that many. And I should also emphasize that this was not the only defeat, because this vote came after another decision by the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell from the Republican Party to essentially block a demand that was put forward by President Trump recently to increase that one-time direct payments, the checks that were meant to be for Americans as pandemic relief, from $600 to be increased up to $2,000. Now, that also was blocked. Even though it was supported by the majority of the Democrats, most Republicans said that gap was basically too much. It would be sending more than $460 billion of money to most Americans, when it was really not that many people who needed that amount the most. So that really, those are the two major defeats for Donald Trump. And this is really an overwhelming moment to really reflect his current standing in the Republican Party, because, as you know, as he's preparing to step down, we understand Donald Trump is still planning to play a crucial role in political life. So this latest vote in the Senate very much shows what those lawmakers, particularly from his party, make of him these days.
Thank you very much. Our correspondent, it is Tian Shan in Los Angeles.